Hi, my name's Matt Widgery from mattwidgery.com. In today's episode we're going to be looking at the importance of having a concept in your photography. So, some of the more eagle-eyed amongst you might have spotted that we have a guitar here. I don't play the guitar, but this is purely for an idea. It doesn't even work as a guitar. Ooh, that's horrible. But what I'm going to do is set fire to it, and I'm going to have a girl, basically a model who is going to be kind of dressed as in punk clothes, with like punk hair and makeup and things like that, and it's going to be all on fire, and it's going to be in like a sort of like deserted car park with graffiti around it and stuff like that, and this is going to be on fire, and she's going to smash it up, and it's going to be a little bit like the cover of the Clash London Calling, you know, with the guitar being smashed, but on fire. So that's what I'm going to do with this guitar. It doesn't work. It's a cheap guitar that I bought for a few quid off Gumtree in a non-working condition, because there's no sense in ringing a perfectly good guitar to do this. But I just wanted to make this video because I think a lot of people make the mistake when they first start out of not really kind of understanding how important it is to just have an idea of what the shot's going to look like before you go out and take it. Up on the screen now you can see this first image. This is a good friend of mine and a fantastic musician, a guy called Jake Martin, and he is best known as frontman of a band called The Junk. But he's got a solo project coming out, and he wanted some publicity shots in order to promote a new album that's coming out later on in the year. There's going to be a new website that he needs some images for, and just get a set of publicity shots that he can use to promote tour dates and the album and the single and things like that. So we did a whole bunch of shots. And this is the first one. As you can see, he is kicking a bunch of water up and playing the guitar in the middle of a river. That river is the River Cam. It's got a particular personal connection to Jake because he's a Cambridge guy and he grew up around there and he lived around there, and so you know, we wanted to have something which meant something to him as a musician, and those that know Jake and that follow him will kind of appreciate, hopefully, that extra little bit of, you know, connection there with the shot that's being made. But the important thing is that before me and Jake went out and stood, I mean literally up to our nether regions in freezing cold, stinky river water, taking shots in the middle of the night, we had a really clear idea of what it was that we wanted to achieve. I could see that shot in my head before I went out. So when we got there, it was just a question of getting the settings set up on the bank so that we spent the minimum of time in the freezing water as we possibly could. So we did a couple of test shots with the flash, and then we got into the water. Just as a side note on that, if you do want to do flash only shots at night, you will of course be wondering how you get any focus, because obviously before the flash goes off there is no light in order to get focus. So we used a very clever technique, very lo-fi. All we did was we got a mobile phone and we held it up next to Jake's face. Then I got the focus off that, and then got him to throw the mobile phone up onto the bank of the river so that when he was kicking the water around and stuff like that, it didn't get soaked. So we got into focus on that, locked the focus off, so slid the focus from autofocus onto manual focus so it wouldn't move around, and then we're good to go. So everything else is just from the flash. That's a side note. Second shot that's now up on screen now, this is Jake Martin again. This particular shot, again, this is, you can see he's chucking the TV off a balcony. I could visualize the shot. I knew that I wanted to get this shot before we went out, so I sourced the TV, sourced the location, all that kind of stuff before going out, and just kind of, you know, wandering around aimlessly, you know, hoping to find somewhere that looks a bit photogenic, or if it doesn't look photogenic, you know, do our best to throw the focus out by putting a really narrow depth, a really shallow depth of field on it. And I see this a lot with, you know, people that are just starting out. You know, they'll want to do a portrait session, they'll want to do, you know, some shots for maybe a local band, or for, you know, for seniors if it's in America, like, or prom or whatever it is, or kids' portraits, weddings, all that kind of stuff. And they all kind of look the same, because without an idea about what you're going to do, what tends to happen is you go out, you find a brick wall to lean against, you find a tree to lean against, you have somebody looking out over the sea if you live by the sea, or walking along the beach, whatever it happens to be, and all the shots kind of look the same. And what you want as a photographer, and I would say, you know, even if you're not aiming to sell the pictures, you know, to be a professional and to sell your services, but even if you're an amateur and you're just wanting to do it for your own, like, pleasure of taking pictures, you still want to make images that are uniquely yours. and don't look like everybody else's on 500px or on Flickr or whatever it happens to be. So by coming up with a concept that is your own and then building things into that that make that picture unique, then when you actually get there and you set the shot up and you take it, it won't look like everything else. And I just think that's really, really an important thing to do, just for your own sense of artistic development and getting the most satisfaction that you possibly can out of the shot, creating something that's really individual. And you know, again, if you can do something which is you know, has some other layer of meaning in it, then all to the good. Again, actually, with this shot, Jake lived round the corner from here as well, from this location. So again, it had a connotation to it, which I didn't know, actually, to be fair, when I actually set this location up. That was something he told me when we got onto site, but it was cool and it added an extra dynamic to it. But the main thing is just be aware of thinking about a concept and then pulling together some things, and it can be really fun to do that. So in the case of the flaming guitar shot that I'm doing, I know that there's various things that I've got to do. So I've got the guitar, which is brilliant. I've got a couple of ideas for locations. One is a slightly sort of bigger place, one is smaller and kind of ramshackly, and I'm toying up between the two. I might have another visit of both actually and just see which one I want to do, but it's important to get that locked in. And then in terms of model and makeup artist as well, because it's a particular look that, that I'm going for. I've got a girl in mind who's going to be absolutely brilliant for this look. I've worked with her before and she's fantastic. And in terms of makeup artists, that's still to be decided, whether or not we end up doing something ourselves and do it kind of, you know, lo-fi and kind of grungy, which is cool because that's the punk look, or whether we do find somebody to bring in and you know, and do a you know, professional job on it, is up in the air at the moment. We shall see. But all of that stuff will have an impact on the final shot. And so if you've got all those things in place before you ever press the shutter or ever get to location, then you'll have an idea roughly about what it is that you're trying to aim at in the picture, so that you can then tailor things on the day to you know, to sort of fit that vision and to get the shot that you want. So that's it really. It's a very, very short video, but just go out and have a think, and it's a really cool thing to do. Like, just have a think about, you know, what would you most like to photograph. You know, do you want to do flaming guitars? Do you want to have like an explosion thing? Do you want to have water in the shot? Do you want to have like an aerial shot looking down on things? Do you want to do like an action shot? If so, where do you want to do it? Do you want to do it like up in a mountain somewhere? Do you want to do it you know, in a wide open plain in a desert? I mean, a lot of this is going to depend where you live and where you've got access to and stuff like that. But just have a think about the types of elements of the picture that you can bring together in order to get that final product looking really, really cool. And you will see that your pictures will improve 1,000,000%, and your satisfaction that you get with taking the pictures will also improve 1,000,000%. So that's it. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe. It's up there, I think, the little subscribe button, but press on that, or the one that's at the bottom of YouTube if you're just looking at it through YouTube. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.